All right, chapter 25 on Matthew. The parable of the 10 virgins. Then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins, which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom. And 5 of them were wise, and 5 were foolish. And earlier, God was talking about one was in the field, 2 were in the field, 1 got taken, 1 didn't. All right, so we got half here as well. That were foolish took their lamps and took no oil with them. But the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps. While the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept. And at midnight there was a cry made, Behold, the bridegroom cometh, go ye out to meet him. Then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps. And the foolish said unto the wise, Give us of your oil, for our lamps have gone out. But the wise answered, saying, Not so, lest there be not enough for us and you, but go ye rather to them that sell and buy for yourselves. And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and they that were ready went in with him to the marriage, and to the door, and the door was shut. Afterwards came also the other virgins, saying, Lord, Lord, open to us. But he answered and said, Verily I say unto you, I know you not. Watch therefore, for ye know neither the day nor the hour wherein the Son of Man cometh. So that's what we already went into on the last video. You don't stop going. You don't stop in this relationship with God. You don't stop reading your Bible. You don't stop studying the Word. You persevere and you keep going. The lamp, the oil, and then we shine brightly as a light for others to be attracted to Christ. Not to us, but to God. Because they're in darkness, we're a light, and the light comes from God, and we shine brightly, and we can guide them to truth, which is Jesus. That right there is biblical. All right. The parable of the talents. For the kingdom of heaven is as a man traveled into a far country, who called his own servants and delivered unto them his goods. And unto one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1, to another man according to his several abilities, and straightway took his journey. Then he had received the 5 talents, went and traded with it, with the same, and made them another 5 talents. And likewise, he that had received 2, he also gained another 2. But he that had received 1 went and digged in the earth and hid his Lord's money. After a long time, the Lord of those servants cometh and reckoneth with them. And so he that had received 5 came and brought other 5 talents, saying, Lord, thou deliverest unto me 5 talents. Behold, I have gained beside them 5 talents more. His Lord said unto him, Well done, thou good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of thy Lord. He also that had received 2 talents came and said, Lord, thou deliverest unto me 2 talents. Behold, I have gained 2 other talents beside them. His Lord said unto him, Well done, good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few. I will make ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of the Lord. Then he which had received 1 came and said, Lord, I knew thee that thou art a hard man, reaping where thou hast not sown, and gathered where thou hast not strawed. And I was afraid, and went and hid thy talents in the earth. Lo, there thou hast that is thine. His Lord answered and said unto him, Thou wicked and slothful servant, thou knewest that I reap where I sow not, and gathered where I have not strawed. Thou oughtest therefore to have put my money to the exchangers, and then at my coming I should have received mine own with usury, which is interest. Take therefore the talent from him, and give it unto him which hath 10. For unto every man, every one that hath shall be given, and he shall be have abundance. But from him that hath not shall be taken away even that which he hath. And cast ye the unprofitable servant into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. So we all have different abilities. Some of us are really smart, really gifted, and it's like, wow, this guy is freaking really awesome. I can't match somebody's intellect. I can't match I'm not the smartest person in the world. But God gives everybody, creates us, and gives us all different abilities. Some people have more abilities than others, but if you don't do anything with those abilities, for God's sake, that He gave you those abilities to use to glorify God, then you're a wicked servant. He gave you 10 talents, and you used none of them. He gave me one, and I didn't use it. So that's what we're talking about here. The judgment. When the Son of Man shall come in his glory, and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory, and behold, and before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goats. And he shall set the sheep on his right side, but the goats on the left. Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, Come ye blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was a hungered, and you gave me meat. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you took me in. Naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came to me. Then shall the righteous answer him, saying, Lord, when saw we thee a hungered, and fed thee, or thirsty, and gave thee drink? When saw thee a stranger, and took thee in, or naked, and clothed thee? Or when saw we thee sick, or in prison, and came unto thee? And the king shall answer and say unto him, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of these my brethren, ye have done it unto me. Then shall he say also unto them on the left hand, Depart from me, ye cursed, into everlasting fire, prepared for the devil and his angels. So hell, or everlasting fire, was not prepared for people. It was made to burn up and burn away Satan and the fallen angels. So that's important to understand, and to when you encounter somebody who is going to try and debate with you, well, God, at least the God of the Bible, he's just I don't know, a kid on top of an anthill that has a magnifying glass that just burns ants, or whatever, that kind of theory, or that attitude, is God didn't even make that he came to save all of us. So that everlasting fire was preserved and held for just the fallen angels and Satan. It wasn't for any of us. Not intended. But if we choose to be under him and the leadership of Satan, then we will fall into his punishment as well. For I was a hungered, and also everlasting fire. Doesn't say everlasting burning in hell forever, or whatever. The only everlasting description in here is the fire itself, and you'll have to battle this if you're planning on going out there and talking to other people that are Christians or whatever. Almost every single denomination out there believes that people are going to burn in hell forever. But the description right here and everywhere else that I've gone through, if you've been watching any of these studies, the only description there is the fire itself is everlasting, not the actual punishment is everlasting. So, but people, we're living in a deceitful world where people twist and they see things, most people, if they hear, I mean, yeah, a child molester, that's a horrible thing. But most people, they want to take away from what God has planned, and they want to put punishment on those people. So they want the punishment for, so if they're a child molester, I want them to burn in hell forever. That's what I want for them. And so now that's not what God had said. That's what you're saying. But people are wicked. Could you really be in heaven and look down and see people in torment forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever? Does that sound like, would you want that? Is that enjoyable for you to see people burning and screaming and forever and ever and ever while you're up there just sucking on a lollipop or doing whatever in heaven? Is that your idea of heaven? Well, it is if you're a Catholic. Or even a lot of other Christian denominations. For I was a hungered, and ye gave me no meat. I was thirsty, and ye gave me no drink. I was a stranger, and ye took me not in. Naked, and ye clothed me not. Sick, and in prison, ye visited me not. Then shall they also answer him, saying, Lord, when saw we thee hungered, thirsty, stranger, sick, and did not minister unto thee? Then shall he answer them, saying, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye did it not to one of the least of these, ye did it not to me. And these shall go away into everlasting punishment. And the punishment is everlasting. It is final. So it doesn't say everlasting burning in hell punishment. You're going to be burning in hell forever. Doesn't say that. It says the punishment is everlasting. But the righteous into life eternal. So that's why we need to break things down. Slow down. Read. Interpret. Understand. The punishment is everlasting. It will stand, and it's final. 26. The plot to kill Jesus. And it came to pass, when Jesus had finished all these sayings, he said unto his disciples, Ye know that after 2 days is the feast of the Passover, and the Son of Man is betrayed and to be crucified. Then assembled together the chief priests and the scribes and the elders of the people unto the palace of the high priest, who was called Caiaphas, and consulted that they might take Jesus by subtlety and kill him. So they were going to assassinate him. All right. There was an assembly, conspirators, chief priests, scribes, elders of the people, the high priests, Caiaphas, and consulted that they might take Jesus by subtlety and kill him. But they said, Not on the feast day, lest there be an uproar among the people. Anointed of Jesus at Bethany. Now, when Jesus was in Bethany, in the house of Simon the leper, there came unto him a woman having an alabaster box of very precious ointment, and poured it on his head, and he sat at meat. But when his disciples saw it, they had indignation, saying, To what purpose is this waste? For this ointment might have been sold for much, and given to the poor. When Jesus understood it, he said unto them, Why trouble ye the woman? for she hath wrought a good work upon me. For ye have the poor always with you, but me you have not always. For in that she had poured this ointment on my body, she did it for my burial. Verily I say unto you, wheresoever this gospel shall be preached in the whole world, there shall also that this woman hath done, he told for a memorial of her. The bargain of Judas Iscariot. Then one of the 12, called Judas Iscariot, went unto the chief priests, and said unto them, What will ye give me? And I will deliver him unto you. And they covenanted with him for 30 pieces of silver. All right, let's hear 26:15 covenanted. It's to make a bargain, I believe. Somewhere on that 26:15 covenanted. A prolonged form of a primary word of the same meaning and is used for it in certain tenses: to stand, used in various applications: abide, appoint, bring, continue, covenant, establish. All right, so establish would be the word. So, what will ye give me? And I will deliver him unto you. And they established with him for 30 pieces of silver. And from that time he sought opportunity to betray him. The Last Supper. Now, the first day of the feast of unleavened bread, the disciples came to Jesus, saying unto him, Where wilt thou that we prepare for thee to eat the Passover? And he said, Go into the city to such a man, and say unto him, The Master saith, My time is at hand. I will keep the Passover at thy house with my disciples. And the disciples did as Jesus had appointed them, and they made ready the Passover. Now when the even was come, and he sat down with the 12, and as they did eat, he said, Verily I say unto you, that one of you shall betray me. And they were exceedingly sorrowful, and began every one of them to say unto him, Lord, is it I? And he answered and said, He that dippeth his hand with me in the dish, the same shall betray me. The Son of Man goeth, as it is written of him, but woe unto that man by whom the Son of Man is betrayed. It had been good for that man if he had not been born. Then Judas, which betrayed him, answered and said, Master, is it I? He said unto him. Now Judas knew what he had already done. He just went and made a deal with these people that openly want to kill him. They've already tried to stone him a couple of times and all this other stuff. They're in complete opposition with God, and he already made a deal with them, so he already knew. So he obviously didn't believe Jesus could read his mind. He didn't believe that Jesus was God. Because if you're going to believe that Jesus is God, then you're going to know that he knows your thoughts. He knows your heart. He knows exactly what you're thinking. He knows everything. There's nothing hidden from God. So he obviously was either trying to play the part of, well, it's not me, is it? Well, obviously, if you know he's God, then you're going to know that he knows exactly what you just did. And he didn't believe that. So, anyways. And it was, while they were eating, Jesus took bread and blessed it and brake it and gave it to the disciples and said, Take, eat, this is my body. And he took the cup and gave thanks and gave it to them, saying, Drink ye all of it, for this is my blood of the New Testament, which is shed for many for the remission of sins. But I say unto you, I will not drink henceforth of this fruit of the vine until that day when I drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom. And when they had sung a hymn, they went out into the Mount of Olives. Then saith Jesus unto them, All ye shall be offended because of me this night. For it is written, I will smite the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock shall be scattered abroad. All right, so here's prophecy right here. All ye shall be offended because of me this night, for it is written, I will smite the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock shall be scattered abroad. But after I am risen again, I will go before you in Galilee. Peter answered and said unto him, Though all men shall be offended because of thee, yet will I never be offended. So Peter said unto him, Jesus said unto him, Verily I say unto thee, that this night before the cock crows, thou shalt deny me 3 times. Peter said unto him, Though I should die with thee, yet will I not deny thee. Likewise also said all the disciples. Jesus' agony in Gethsemane. Then cometh Jesus with them unto a place called Gethsemane, and saith unto the disciples, Sit ye here, while I go and pray yonder. And he took with him Peter and the 2 sons of Zebedee, and began to be sorrowful and very heavy. Then saith he unto them, My soul is exceedingly sorrowful, even unto death. Tarry ye here, and watch with me. And he went a little further, and fell on his face, and praying, saying, O my Father, if it is possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as thou wilt. And he cometh unto the disciples, and findeth them asleep, and saith unto Peter, and they were supposed to be watching and stuff, and they fell asleep. What could ye not watch with me 1 hour? Watch and pray, that ye enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. He went away again the 2nd time, and praying, saying, O my Father, if this cup may not pass away from me, except I drink it, thy will be done. And he came and found them asleep again, for their eyes were heavy. And he left them, and went away again, and prayed the 3rd time, saying the same words. Then cometh he to his disciples, and saith unto them, Sleep on now, and take your rest. Behold, the hour is at hand, and the Son of Man is betrayed into the hands of sinners. Rise, let us be going. Behold, he is at hand that doth betray me. So, if they would have been awake and watching, they would have seen Judas ran off. But since they were all sleeping, they didn't see that. They would have been able to say, well, where are you going? Oh, no. They were sleeping. Slacking off. All right, Jesus betrayed and arrested. And while he yet spake, lo, Jesus, one of the 12, came, and with him a great multitude. So, you got a great multitude with swords and staves, the chief priests, the elders of the people. Now he that betray him gave them a sign, saying, Whosoever I shall kiss, that same as he hold him fast. And forthwith he came to Jesus and said, Hail, Master, and kissed him. I think they still do that now. They kiss their, rabbi or whatever. It's not a homo thing. And Jesus said unto him, Friend, wherefore art thou come? As if he didn't know. Then came they and laid hands on Jesus and took him. And behold, one of them which were with Jesus stretched out his hand and drew his sword and struck a servant of the high priest and smote off his ear. Then said Jesus unto him, Put up again thy sword into his place, for all they that take the sword shall perish with the sword. Thinkest thou that I cannot now pray to my Father, and he shall presently give me more than 12 legions of angels? But how then shall the scripture be fulfilled? And thus it must be. In that same hour, said Jesus to the multitudes, are ye come out as against a thief with swords and staves for to take me? I sat daily with you, teaching in the temple, and ye laid no hold on me. But all this was done, that the scriptures of the prophets might be fulfilled. Then all the disciples forsook him and fled. Jesus before Caiaphas. And they that had laid hold on Jesus led him away to Caiaphas the high priest, where the scribes and the elders were assembled. But Peter followed him from afar off unto the high priest's palace, and went in and sat with the servants to see the end. Now the chief priests and the elders and all the council sought false witness against Jesus, to put him to death, but found none. Yea, though many false witnesses came, yet found they none. At the last came 2 false witnesses, and said, This fellow said, I am able to destroy the temple of God, and to build it in 3 days. And the high priest arose and said unto him, Answerest thou nothing? What is it which these witness against thee? What do you have to say? But Jesus held his peace, and the high priest answered and said unto him, I adjure thee by the living God, that thou tell us whether thou be the Christ, the Son of God. Jesus said unto him, Thou hast said, nevertheless I say unto you, hereafter shall ye see the Son of Man sitting on the right hand of power, and coming in the clouds of heaven. Then the high priest rent his clothes, saying, He hath spoken blasphemy. And there's only a couple of verses that actually go into the description of blasphemy, and here's one of them. The high priest rent his clothes, saying, He hath spoken blasphemy. What further need have we of witness? Behold, now ye have heard his blasphemy. Hereafter ye shall see the Son of Man sitting on the right hand of power, and coming in the cloud of heaven. All right. What think ye? He answered, He is guilty of death. Then did they spit in his face and buffeted him. What is it? 26. $26.67. Buffeted to rap with the fist. And others smote him with the palms of their hands. So they're slapping him across, they're slapping him around, they're punching him, they're spitting on him, saying, Prophesy unto us, thou Christ. Who is he that smote thee? So they're mocking him, going around in circles and smacking him and punching him and kicking him and, all this other stuff, and saying, Who kicked you? Peter's denial of Jesus. Now Peter sat without in the palace, and a damsel came unto him, saying, Thou also wast with Jesus in Galilee. But he denied them all, saying, I know not what thou sayest. And when he was gone into the porch, another maid saw him, and said unto them that were there, This fellow was also with Jesus of Nazareth. And again he denied with an oath, I do not know this man. And after a while came unto him they that stood by, and said to Peter, Surely thou also art one of them, for thy speech betrayeth thee. Then began he to curse and to swear, saying, I know not the man. And immediately the cock crew. And Peter remembered the word of Jesus, which said unto him, before the cock crow, thou shalt deny me 3 times. And he went out and wept bitterly. All right, we'll pick up 27 in the next video.